about him. I'll tell you a little bit about this person. He loves a certain movie. I don't know if you guys have seen Coming to America. Alright, so he loves that movie. That is personally one of my favorite, all-time favorites. And so he had a little request before I even try to introduce him that I show you a little bit of it. Who in this room hasn't seen Coming to America? Raise your hand.
You need to.
This is your project for this summer.
You need to.
Go find it and watch it. I think you will appreciate it. It's actually on Netflix, right? Yes. These are some of those cultural things you need to get in your
repertoire.
In your basket. Okay. All right, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about our speaker and our guest for today. He is a DPT, CCS, EMTB. Those are like, woo. Yes, those are all titles. These are all things you go to school for. DPT, CCS, EMTB. Okay, somebody knows what this is about. Okay, he is a board-certified clinical specialist in cardiovascular and pulmonary diseases with over 25 years of physical therapy and rehab experience. Now listen to this. He began his professional career at the New York University Medical Center's Russ Institute of Rehabilitation Medicine, with clinical rotations in medical, surgical, orthopedic, and neurological rehabilitation, chest physical therapy, and ultimately cardiovascular and pulmonary rehabilitation. From 1995 to 1999, at the age of 24, I'm going to say this again, at the age of 24, he served as the youngest chief physical therapist of the Cardiac Prevention and Rehab Center at the age of 24. In 1998, he founded the Pulmonary Wellness and Rehab Center, a Manhattan-based physical therapy practice specializing in the care of patients with cardiovascular and pulmonary diseases, and New York Wellness, a comprehensive outpatient physical therapy practice with orthopedic, cardiovascular, and pulmonary complex medical and airway clearance units. Under his direction, the center has conducted over 60,000 exercise sessions and has been named the best of the United States in the area of cardiovascular and pulmonary physical therapy. He's a consummate educator. He has trained thousands of patients and hundreds of students and clinicians. From 1995 to 2003, he was on the faculty of the New York University, during which time he was awarded the title of Master Clinician in the area of cardiovascular and pulmonary physical therapy. He is currently the Pulmonary Rehabilitation Fellowship Coordinator for the Weill Cornell Medical College. I'm reading this and I'm almost getting depressed now. He earned his Bachelor of Science in Physical Therapy from the SUNY, which is the State University of New York, Upstate Medical University, in 1992, and his Doctor of Physical Therapy from the Dominican College in 2006. In addition to his role at the center, he is a New York State Certified Emergency Medical Technician. That's what that EMT was for. And an advanced cardiac life support provider, a professional scuba diving international open water instructor, and an underwater naturalist with a passion for shark photography. He is a musician, an artist, and a clothing designer. Under the moniker Noah G Pop, www.noahgpop.com. Y'all need to check him out, man. He is big on family and is the loving father of Monkey. I have pictures of Monkey. He is such a...
I got scared for a second. I was like...
So Monkey, if you guys want to see him, is a mix of a pit. He's a mix of a pit bull and a mountain cure. Somehow, Monkey has earned more days off than any of his staff or the members of the Pulmonary Wellness Center. Before we usher him in, I know he's a big fan of the movie we were talking about, and we're trying to play the clip, but our Wi-Fi is giving us a bit of a problem. So what we'll do is we'll play the soundtrack.
How you guys doing today? My name is Noah, but you could call me Dr. Greenspan. No, I'm just joking. So the topic of today is entrepreneurship, but I want to talk not just about being an entrepreneur, I want to talk about life because they're extremely connected. And all the things that will make you successful in life will make you successful as an entrepreneur. And all the things that will make you successful as an entrepreneur will make you successful in life. And vice versa. The things that make you do poorly in life will not bode you well as an entrepreneur, and the things that make you do poorly as an entrepreneur will not necessarily help you in life, although failure is one of the best teachers. Okay? Not that I'm advocating failure for anybody. So what do you think of when you think of the word entrepreneur? How many people want to, this is all entrepreneurs. Everyone here wants to be an entrepreneur, right? So when you think of the word entrepreneur, what goes through your head? Business.
Your own hours.
Your own hours. What hours do you want to work?
As hard as long as I have to.
Okay, so you may think as an entrepreneur you set your own hours, but the truth of the matter is that the boss is going to work the most hours if you're going to be a good boss, and if you're going to be a successful boss, and if you're going to be a successful entrepreneur. Because guess what? When the toilet overflows at 2 in the morning, none of your employees are going to come in and do that. Okay, and if you want your business to survive, you need to be ready to do whatever it takes to make that work. But business, your own hours, I'll say your own hours, you could say that, but I'm glad to hear you say, I'm glad you didn't say I want to work from 12 to 2 or 2 to 4. What else do you think of?
Work ethic.
What's that? Work ethic, absolutely. What else? wealth, or poverty, one or the two, or somewhere in between. But that's okay. What else? What?
She said leader.
Leader. Okay. Let me get 5 volunteers up here right now. Step up. If leader, step up. Run it. First 5 up here are getting it. All right. Cool. So how many of you have seen the play Hamilton? How many of you know the music from Hamilton? All right. So you know that? I'll say, so tell me what comes after this. Alexander Hamilton. My name is. So we're going to do this all like a Hamilton today, okay? So you're going to start off, I'm going to say, what's your name? And you're going to say your name, and then you're going to sing, my name is. I'll say, so what's your name? You too? Akua brought me here today. I met a lot of Akuas since I've been taking an A. Yeah, Akua brought me here today. So your name is Akua. All right, so Alexander Hamilton. My name is Alexander Hamilton.
Akua, my name is Akua.
Perfect. And there's a million things I haven't done, but just you wait. That's the point of today. So there's a million things that Alexander Hamilton hasn't done, but just you wait, because he knows it's coming, right? That's how all you, I heard these things, I heard all these things that you guys are talking about, and I'm hearing pediatric neurosurgeon and astrophysicist, and I got nervous. I started thinking I have to go back to class or something like that. But you guys have big dreams. You're not saying like I want to be, and there's no job that I would mention right now that would be too small for you to take, okay? So I wouldn't even name a job that I would say, you know, it's not like you said I want to be this, a job that people might not automatically think is a positive job. But any job is a good job, and it's going to be what you make of it. So what do you want to do, Akua?
I want to become an occupational therapist.
Okay. And what do you think is the most important aspect? If you had to name one word that is the most important thing, if you will eliminate something, every other word, but this one is the one that's going to get you to your dream, what do you think it is? Dedication. Okay. Important. What's your name, son? And that's from I'm not calling you son. That's from Hamilton.
Yeah.
Don't get me.
No. My name is Chief.
Chief. Sing it to me, Chief.
My name is Chief Asiama.
Okay. Are you the chief?
I like to think so.
Okay. Okay. Albert. Okay. But he made himself chief.
Chief is another form of my Ghanaian name.
Okay. Gotcha. So what do you want to do, Chief?
I want to get into real estate.
Real estate.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you think is the most important thing that you have to do, or the most important quality that is going to drive you in the real estate industry?
Not taking no for an answer.
Not really.
or having can't moving.
But you just told me you're not going to take no for an answer, and I said not really. I'm not going to take no for an answer. Sorry, we're not interested. All right. You're like, what do you mean? It's my dream. That's what you have to say. It's your dream. So I'm not going to tell you what your dream is. Just like no one's going to tell me what my dream is, or tell me what I can't do. So, you know, I would say, because I have a big ego, that you should be taking notes. But I'm just joking. Like, you should. If there's something that sticks out in your mind, I write constantly, okay? If there's one thing I'm going to give you, one piece of advice that's going to help you right now, write things down, okay? When you hear something, when you see something, if you don't have paper, you could rip it from my lucky book. This is actually a good sharing experience. You can rip from my lucky idea book and take a piece of paper, which is going to be good luck for you. And it doesn't have to be the whole piece of paper. Just take something so that if you hear one thing, just rip it out if you want it. If you hear one thing that you say, you know what, this is going to be helpful to me in my life, write it down and refer to it. Because I write, when I take notes like this. And I have books and books of my ideas from years and years. And people look at this and they're like, God, how many things does he have on this page? But if you take one thing away from today that you can... Gosh, there's a talk going on right now. If there's one thing you could take away from today and apply it, and then the next time you do something, you take one thing from that and one thing from that. It's like if you go to work on a construction site, I had a million crazy jobs growing up. Okay, I worked I've scrubbed floors. I was the hood of the car dryer at a car wash. I worked on a construction site with this builder. I didn't know any of the tools. Okay, I didn't know any of the tools. So I had to ask him what the tools were. I had to come and put labels on the tools so that I could learn what these tools are. But my point is, if you learn how to use one tool today, or you walk away with one thing that's helpful to you, you can walk away and say, I know how to use a hammer now, and you own that. And then the next thing you go, I know how to use a screwdriver now, and you own that. And you understand I'm not talking about literally, I'm talking metaphorically, okay? So the point is, if there's one thing that I say today that inspires you, then write it down and think about it and refer to it. And I just gave you a hint of what I think is the most important thing. So you said not taking no for an answer. What makes you want to go into real estate?
I just love the business aspect of it. I love land. The owning land is the true means of wealth. And actually, $1 million, just to be honest.
$1 Million homes?
$1 million homes. I would
Okay.
love that shit. So,
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So that's good. That's a good one. Real estate. So we got OT, real estate, OT, RE, because we're spelling something out as we get along. We're going to figure out what it is. So far we got OTRE. Ma'am? Yes?
My name is Persis Bob. My name is Persis Bob.
Hey, Persis, what would you like to do?
I was a pediatric nurse.
Whoa! You gotta have brains for that, and you have to not be afraid to look at the brains, right? That's a lot of school. That's a lot of school, so get ready. But that's a beautiful, beautiful dream. Trust me, you will be changing families' lives every single day. You will be taking somebody who cannot do anything to doing something. You're giving people their lives back. That's awesome. What do you think is the most important thing, the most important word, the most important thing that's going to drive you?
Honestly, I think it's like God's grace.
God's grace.
Yeah, because through all like the schooling and then like everything and then like, when you're doing the surgery and then you the patients, the children, I think I need like His grace to help me.
Okay, you working on that? You working on that? Next in line?
My name is Mimi Washington.
You're a
There you
singer.
go.
You're a singer. All right.
I want to be I want to own my own fashion.
Fashion. Okay, fashion's a hard business to be in. And fashion got a lot harder. You know why? Because every celebrity is in fashion right now. So whereas the young designer used to have a path, now if Beyonce says, I'm going to make turtlenecks, it becomes the Beyonce turtleneck or the Rihanna turtleneck or, whatever. But it doesn't mean it's not out there. I was in the fashion business for a while. I designed my own clothes and sold clothes. And it's a great, exciting business. You got to be willing to put in the work and the time. What do you think is the most important thing that's gonna move you? That's gonna make you a success? Creativity. Okay, that's good. Creativity is what I like about that? It's different. That's not a business thing right there. That's a personal thing. That's a passion thing. Okay, because I think that the passion thing is what builds the business thing. Like, yeah, you have to have drive. You have to not, you have to have the business idea of knowing the math and knowing this and that. But I feel like the greatest gift in life is being able to have a job that you feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And as a kid, you guys are all young kids. Like, I look and I'm like, wow. I feel like I'm like 10 years older than you, but I'm really like 30 years older than you. But it's like you have to, if there's one thing I could say to you, and it sounds cliche because people say it over and over and over again, but it's to find out what are you supposed to be doing with your life, okay? And it's not what somebody's going to tell you or what somebody's going to give you or make you do, it's what you feel. Like, I have been very lucky in that I have a number of different careers that I love. And it's like I get up in the morning and I'm excited. I can get up in the morning and I say, this is what I want to do today, because I know and I'm going to be able to get this person who can't walk or can't breathe or can't move or can't see their grandchildren and get them able to do that again. So I get up in the morning and I can't wait to go to my work. And I can't wait to, I get to the block I'm in and I sometimes start running because I'm so excited to get there. And there's a lot of factors involved in that. It has to do with the people I work with, because here's another little rule. I'm going to tell you when I have like something that I think is a definite principle that is correct. You could have the worst job in the world. If you work with good people, your job is pretty good, okay? You could have the best job in the world. If you don't like the people you work with, your job is terrible. It's very simple, okay? I've had jobs where I'm cleaning up crap, garbage, blood, guts, picking, carrying people up and down stairs. If I work with good people, it's good. And I've also had cushy jobs where the people around me don't move me in any way to be inspired to do anything positive, because they don't care about anything positive. They just are there to collect a check or make some money or this or that. But if you work with the right people and you have the right job and you're doing something good for other people, that's the dream. But the dream is to wake up and say, not that I want a job where, of course we want to make money, but most of us can make money, okay? But we want something where if you could get up and every day say, wow, I can't believe how lucky I got to be able to do this job, that it almost doesn't feel like work. It almost feels like I'm stealing at the end of the day because it's so good. You're like, I can't believe somebody's paying me to do this job. It's like, wow, I could eat these chocolate chip cookies and lose weight. It's like you feel like, wow, something doesn't seem right about this. But the biggest thing I could say to you today is look in the world to find out what you are supposed to be doing. And the only way that you're going to do that is by exploring as many things as possible, okay? I've tried a lot of different jobs, okay? I got lucky at the right time, as you heard before. I got into it lucky at an early age, okay? I made a mistake my first year of college. So let me start back a little bit. In high school, I worked in a clothing store called Chess King. It was a retail clothing store in the Kings Plaza Mall in Brooklyn, okay? I could sell anything to anybody. I could sell ice cubes to Eskimos, okay? I could sell you a green shirt and an orange tie and purple pants, and you're gonna walk out feeling like you got the coolest outfit on earth. And the beauty of my job was that it was a commission job, so I made commission on everything I sold. So check this out, my senior year of high school, I made $50K. Because I hustled, okay? Because I went to school from 7:25 in the morning to 12:25. I didn't go to class, but I went to school, okay? And from 1:30 to 10:30 every night and on weekends, I worked at Chess King selling. And you know what was the prize to sell? A leather jacket. Because a leather jacket was like $300 to $500, and you're like, leather. So people would be camped out by the leather in case someone's looking, they'd be like, would you like that jacket? So I made $50K my senior year of high school, okay? I had this idea that I should become a business major. I went to college and signed up for my first semester as a business major. And my first class of college was Economics 101 at 8:30 a.m. on Monday, okay? Physical therapy, okay? So I'm going to talk more about physical therapy in a little while, but the point is that you have to find out what's right for you. And sometimes the way to find out what you're supposed to be doing is by trying things that you're not supposed to be doing. And I'm not talking about crimes or anything like that, so don't get the wrong idea. But I mean, like, you have to try a lot of different things to find out what really truly moves you. It's like food. You have to try and know what you don't like, what spices work, what spices don't work. Next. Dermatologist. Do you mind checking me out after the little lecture? I have a little itching. So what do you think as a why dermatology? Just curious. I hope you like skin. Okay, all right. Okay, awesome. So let me just say, if I were going to talk to somebody going to medical school, and I'm not trying to tell anybody what you should or shouldn't be doing, okay? It's not my thing. I trust people to find out what's best for themselves. But I would say this. You may go to medical school and find out that, guess what? You really like the liver. And you may say, hey, I may want to be a hepatologist, or, Or you may find out that you really like turtles and you may become a herpetologist, you know, whatever. But the point is you don't know, and you're going to be exposed to so many different things as you go along that don't close your mind off to things. Don't assume that you don't know about something before you know it. And I'm not trying to dissuade you away from dermatology. We need it. God knows we need, you know, pediatric neurosurgeons and real estate brokers and OTs and fashion designers. But the idea is that be open, because you never know what the universe has in store for you. Thank you, first 5 volunteers. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. So let's talk about this. So I promised the crew that I was going to try not to curse during the talk at all. And notice I say try. I say try because I don't like to break my promises. And occasionally one will slip out, but I'm going to be good about it. So what I want you to do, the next thing I want you to do, I want you to close your eyes for 1 second, okay, and think about this. When you open your eyes, look around the room, and then I'm going to count to 3, and I want you to point to the coolest person in the room, not me excluded, okay? So close your eyes, open your eyes, and look around. When I count to 3, point to who you think is the coolest person in the room. 1, 2, 3.
I myself and
Okay. Freeze. Are you pointing at yourself or? Okay. Who are you pointing at? Yeah. Lauren? Stand up, Lauren. Tell me why you think Lauren's the coolest person in the room. She looks pretty cool, but I don't know. Tell me why. This is nice and embarrassing. And I don't mean nice and embarrassing. I mean it's nice and it's embarrassing. But sometimes embarrassing things are nice because it's like, here we are. Everyone's like, holy cow. Like it's easy to point at yourself and say, wow, I'm the coolest. But you know, it's like it's harder to look at someone else and say, wow, you know what? This guy is the coolest. And I'm going to tell you why I think he's the coolest. And the reason I'm talking about this is I'm talking about real stuff right now. Okay? Real. Everyone can act out a part. Everyone can act out a part. So when you look at certain people, they're acting out a part. Okay? Let's use the music business. When you look at certain rappers, you know they're acting out a part. When you look at Jay-Z, he's not acting out a part. That's Jay-Z. When you look at Kanye West, he's not acting out a part. He's Kanye, but that's a different. Right? You know what I'm saying? But the point is, in addition to finding out what you're supposed to be doing with your life, the idea is be real, right? And sometimes the realest things on earth are going to make us uncomfortable, right? So it's like, here we are, we got this big elephant in the room right now because we are all waiting to find out. What's your name? I give this person credit because this person didn't point to herself. She's saying, I think Lauren's the coolest person in the room, and now I want to know why.
Well, I was going to say that she's real and she's like a good friend. She's always been there for me.
Can I get an amen?
Amen!
It doesn't get better than that. You just summed it up right there. I'm going to tell you what I love about that. She didn't point at herself, and she pointed at somebody who she pointed out good friendship, and always been there for. What's better than that? Right? How many people, who else pointed at someone else? You all took that as an opportunity to unfreeze. Tell me who you think's the coolest person in the room.
Chief.
Chief. All right, let's see if they deserve this name, Chief. Why do you think Chief is the...
Well, I don't really know him, but like...
Go ahead.
But like,
He looks cool?
no, like there's a time, he acts like there's a time to be serious and a time like to be fun and stuff. But like when he's serious, he's like on point.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, Lauren, say thank you for that, because that is real. That's a big compliment right there. Chief, okay, so here's the thing. He knows that there's a time to joke around, and he knows that there's a time to be serious. Very important things to know in life, trust me, okay? And I'm going to just tell you that most of the stuff I'm telling you today, most things I know, I learned by doing it wrong first. And most things I know, I learned from getting in trouble, okay? And I'm going to get back to that in 1 second. So, Chief, what do you think about what she said? First, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Right? Because humility is everything. You could be a big personality, okay? Because sometimes it takes being a big personality to get out there and get people moving and get the ideas going and flowing and inspire people. But at the same time, when it comes down to being real with all people, and you know the song, I always forget this guy's name, but it's like the space between, it's like this idea, it's like this space, like this is really uncomfortable for you, isn't it? Good, I'm glad to hear that. But like that little face-to-face interaction of being present in the room with people is very difficult. Like it's easy to play the clown and to be funny and to joke around and this and that like Chief likes to do. But the good news is the Chief also knows when to get serious, right? So that's cool. So what do you think about that as a compliment?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I try my best to make sure that everybody around me like is comfortable.
That's a good quality right there. All right.
I'm happy you took notice of that.
All right, thank you. So now, another thing I want to say is that, the idea of being real, being comfortable with people, and not playing this game, not trying to be somebody that you're not, because it ultimately is going to catch up to you. Give me one more. Who else pointed at someone else? Stand up, sir.
Well, when I see Cece, she's very nice, outspoken, tells how she feels. Even though I'm older than her, she, when I'm acting all silly, she tells me, because, I always had this mindset whereby, a kid may know more than an adult than an adult. There's a saying in my language, that everybody has been a child before, but not everybody has been an adult.
But not everybody has been what?
An adult.
Okay.
And I see her as a person that, she's really respectful. She's very nice and outspoken. And she just represents who she is.
All right. Who pointed to themselves? You?
I think I'm so cool.
Okay. So what's your name? Audrey. Okay. So why did you point at yourself?
I put it on myself because I feel like confidence is a big thing that you need to have. So I feel like if you start with yourself, other people start believing in it too. So if I think I'm the coolest, eventually people start thinking, and I'm also the coolest.
Okay, confidence is very important. I do agree with that, okay? Let me just point out, you have a comment?
I was gonna
Hey, it's okay.
sit up if you like pointed to yourself, but it's okay, sir.
No, say it.
No.
She was pointing to herself, and she was about to say something.
You were pointing yourself, stand up. So you realize when I say who's the coolest in the room and you're like, I'm the coolest in the room, like that's saying something, like that's saying, so I'm gonna tell you something, I also think I'm the coolest person in the room, of course, but the idea is that you have to take it, I've learned over the years, again, from making mistakes, from offending people, from saying the wrong thing and putting my foot in my mouth, from being in detention, from being in the director's office when I started my job when I was 20, and everybody else doesn't think it's funny when the 20-year-old in the room thinks that they're the coolest in the room, because they're like, everyone's been 20 before, but not everybody has been 24 or 25 or whatever age, right? But I had these ideas, which here we are 25 years later, and it turns out I was right. But the point is that you have to be careful in how you go about doing that, right? Because there's a difference between confidence and arrogance, right? So we'd all agree that Jay-Z is confident, right? But do we think Jay-Z is arrogant? No. I think he's kind of humble, like for all he's done. I mean, and it's true, like it's the name of the rap game to be like, I'm the best of this and that. It's the nature of the beast, but he's very humble also. You know what I'm saying? And the bottom line is Kanye West is not humble, right? Kanye used to be my favorite artist, okay? Now, we talked a little bit about my photography. I wish, somehow I forgot my office keys today to bring my book, but I will give you a link. You'll see my photography on my website, but I've shot Jay-Z, I've shot Kanye, I've shot Rihanna, I've shot everyone in the game. You'll see all my pictures on my website under Hip Hop Pop, but Kanye West used to be my favorite artist. Why? Because he's an artistic genius, from the music to the flow, to the words, to this, to that, and the imagery and the fashion of it. So I love art in all its forms, whether it be, music or visual art or digital art or photography, and Kanye can do it all except for one thing. He can't keep his mouth shut in saying crazy things, right? And the problem with that is that eventually you could be the best person at every single thing in the room. If all you do is talk about yourself, then people are ultimately going to be like, I've had enough of this because I count for something too, right? So that's why I'm saying there's a beautiful part. I don't know if any of you have ever seen this. If you've seen it, used to be a great show. I love shows about police and firefighters and EMS, okay, and doctors. So I love the whole Chicago law, Chicago PD, Chicago Med, yeah. So there used to be an amazing show called First Watch. Anyone ever hear of it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not Baywatch, no. First Watch, and it's about fire, PD, and EMS. And there's a part in it, there was one paramedic named Doc, okay? Everyone called him Doc because he's so good at what he does. And there was another guy named Carlos. Now, Carlos was a good paramedic, but he was also a bit of a jerk. And there was one time where Doc said to Carlos, he said, you know what, Carlos? Sometimes you have to put the other person first. And what I have found time over time, I found that when I put the other person first, things come to me. As much more often and much more frequently than if I say, you know what, I'm gonna get mine. And I'm gonna make sure I get. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't be aggressive in going for your dreams. You absolutely have to. But if you're about to win the race and somebody falls down right next to you, I'd much rather you help that person up than worry about winning the race. You know what I'm saying? So my point in saying this is put the other person first and always think about what can you do for the other person, because if you do it that way, I promise you, things will come back to you and people will look to you in ways that they can help you. I didn't do what I did by myself by a long shot, okay? There were a lot of people involved in my journey and people who were amazingly generous to me. When I started my practice, I'm gonna get to starting my practice first, but I'm gonna start with my first couple of years of work. So I started my job at NYU, I was 20 years old and I was wild. People think I'm wild now. I was wild when I was 20 years old, okay? I was into everything. And I'm not talking about like, again, no criminal activity, but I mean, I was a wild kid. I liked to do a lot of different crazy things and I thought I was I walked around like it and I talked like it. And if you think that that's what I'm doing now, I can promise you this is toned down. But the idea is that when you go someplace new, okay, you can't assume that you're the coolest person there because you don't know anybody else here. Really, right? I mean, some of you know some of you, but you know, I wouldn't assume that I'm cooler than him because for all I know, maybe he saved 20 people in a drowning shipwreck. You know what I'm saying? So I say no matter what the situation and no matter how confident you are, approach it with humility and go in humble and assume that these people are at least as cool as me, if not cooler, until I get the vibe. You know what I'm saying? It's like, don't walk into work on the first day and think you know better than the people that have been doing it for 20 years. Because in a lot of cases, I'd say in most cases, not all cases, but people are doing things a certain way for a reason. Now, I went to NYU and I saw a lot of things that I didn't necessarily think were being done right. And I'd be like, this doesn't make any sense to me. I don't see why we're doing this. We're wasting time. It's not efficient. We could provide better patient care. But as the 20-year-old in the room, people don't really want to hear that, especially if you don't say it in the right way, okay? So my point is, it's very easy to say, look at me, as opposed to doing the work and to the point where people can't help but look at you, but you don't have to say it, right? It's like if you hear a song that you like, you're like, boy, what is that? Or like you see a piece of art on the wall and you're like, wait a second, I have to see what that is. It's the same thing, okay? It's the same thing with music, art, science, technology. Let your actions speak louder than your words. Now, I talk a lot, okay? And I talk a lot of BS sometimes, but it's not BS. But I like to challenge myself, okay? I like to talk it and then make it happen, okay? But I'm pretty confident that puts the pressure on me that I'm gonna make it happen. Now, if I talk it and I don't make things happen, then eventually, like I said, it's like the boy who cried wolf and people get tired of hearing that. But again, what I've learned over time is that I get the most when I give the most. I have everything I need, okay? I don't need anything. If you came to me and said, hey, can I get your headphones? Can I get this? Yeah, take it. Or if someone comes up to me in the street, could I have, you got any money to spare? You know what I say? How much you need? They say I need $100. That's what I give them. Okay? Because if I have it, I will give it to you. I know I'm going to have a line of people up. If I say I have any questions, everyone's going to be like, that's $100. But the point is, take what you need. Be humble about it. What you don't need, be free to give it up to others because not everyone has it. Okay? That's one of the points. Other things, so let's get back to my work. So I went to NYU. I swear to God, it was like, that was my dream job, okay? My plan was to go to school at Upstate Medical University and come work at NYU. It was my dream job, got my job, but like I said, I was like in the principal's office all day, every day. And I know they liked me. The director's name was Kathy, and I know she liked me, and the assistant director was named Bev, and she liked me, and the other director was named Ray, and he liked me, but they didn't know what to do with me because they were getting complaints all around the board about things I said or things I did. So I'd be in the principal's office and they'd be like, Noah, what are we going to do? What am I going to do with you? Like, what are you talking about? I'm just trying to let my voice be heard, okay? But what I didn't see at the time was that these people know something that I don't know. And my idea is the first time you set foot in a strange land, and that could be another country, another planet, a new job, or this and that, learn what the local customs are before you tell them what they're doing wrong. You know what I mean? Same thing, like and when it comes to respecting people and respecting people on the job, it's like there's a pecking order, okay? And it's not to say I'm above you, okay? Or you're below me or anything like that. But when I work with somebody, like when I used to work with the chief, not this chief, but another chief, my chief would never touch a broom or a mop to clean the ambulance. You know what I'm saying? If we were there, I would do all that stuff, okay? Because this is my dude right here. I'm working at his delight. And so I'm going to say, you know what, let me get that. And eventually people are starting to take notice to where they're saying, hey, you know what, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Because then if you do those jobs and you say, I'm willing to do anything. Like when I go somewhere, you tell me what you want me to do. If I come here and we say, you tell me what you need to do. You need me to clean the plates? I'll clean the plates. I don't have to be the chef. But the idea is that when people realize that you're willing to do what's needed for the team, then they start giving you the better jobs. Then they start giving you the ice cream job, the cherry job, the syrup job. You know what I mean? So the idea is that go in humble, go in and say, I'm willing to do the lowest job here. Again, like I said, I don't think there are low jobs, okay? Of course, there's some stars, some supporting actors, but a team only works. A team is only as strong as the weakest person on the team. So if we have a 5-person team, and we have 4 great players and 1 player who's the weak link, and we come up against a team that has 5 great players, we're going to lose. So that means you have to be as strong as the weakest person, and the idea is to bring that weakest person up as much as we can. So there was a point where I was working under somebody unbearable to work for, okay? A woman who was very disrespectful to people, really like diminishing people's belief. I mean, people would cry at work. Like grown men and women would cry during rounds because this woman would make you feel so small. And you would have a day off and you couldn't even enjoy the day off because you were worrying that you were going to go back to work the next day and be told something that you did wrong, okay? I am not going to stand by while someone is being bullied. That's just one thing I don't do, okay? And that's one thing I encourage other people to do. Take responsibility for the environment that you're in. So if you see something going wrong, then you have to, you have to do something, even if it means it could be potential trouble for you. So I would always stand up. Something happened on the way to work today, on the way to the train, okay? I went to the train, and as I was entering Penn Station, I saw this guy who was obviously emotionally disturbed, maybe on drugs, screaming, like, ah, just screaming, yo, cursing, and like people were getting away from him because they were scared. And then I saw this guy come up the escalator, and he just went like this. He went, hey, and he like pointed at the guy, and he went, shh, 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 like that, and he went over to the guy and he gave him a pound, and the guy stopped screaming. Now you may be asking about, I just watched it, and I was like, wow, like that's something I'm going to write down and remember, because I'm like, what was different about this guy that instead of saying, hey man, shut the, or trying to come at him with, he just saw something in him. He saw the humanity inside this chaos that was going on, and he went shh, and he gave him a soothing this, where like most people want to just be like, you know, they don't want to be bothered, or they want to meet it with aggression, fight fire with fire. This guy saw something and he gave him something soft, and it cooled the situation right there. So think about that. You know, it's very easy when someone's in your face, like doing the wrong thing, even when they're doing the wrong thing, it's very easy to try to meet that aggression with aggression. But at our facility, you know, a lot of times people walk in, they're sick, they're older, our average patient is 80 years old, and they, you know, they don't feel good. So they come in, they're anxious, they're used to going to places where the treatment is bad, and so they come in, they're already mad, right? But we could give them an attitude right back. We could be like, listen, sit down right there, or we're going to do this or that. Or we could just take extra better care of them and let them cool off from this. And that's what we try to do. So I'm saying, don't always judge a book by the cover. You know, don't always assume, and just take into account the fact that you don't know what's going on with that person. Like there was one time where, you know, how many people hate it when you hold the door for somebody and they don't say thank you? I hate that. I hate that, right? I noticed there are some people, it's not even like, I can understand you could be absent-minded and like you don't hold the door for somebody. I see people who it seems like they're just trying to sneak in, like not even give you any little help with that at all. Now, it bothers me, okay? But the reason why I never say anything anymore, and the reason why I don't let it bother me as much, is because there was one time where I held the door for a woman for a very, very, very long time. And when I say a very, very, very long time, I mean maybe a minute, okay? To hold the door, okay? So everything's relative, but to hold the door, that's a good amount of time. And she walks out, no thank you, right? So what do I say? I went, you're welcome. How many people do that, right? Oh yeah, it feels good, right? But let me tell you what the woman said. She said, I'm so sorry, I just lost my cat today. I just got chills thinking about it because I was like, you're an asshole. I was like, sorry, there's my first curse of the day. But like seriously, I was like, you know what? I was like, I feel terrible now because this woman, I know what it's like to lose an animal. It's heartbreaking, right? So now I think twice before I reach out and say something that may make me feel good for the second, but may hurt the other person, and ultimately is going to make me feel worse in the long run and have longer effects. Because that woman's not thinking about that anymore. I'm thinking about it 20 years later of how a better way I could have done to handle the situation. When I was 17, I got into a car accident, okay? A woman opened the door right into me. And 17, I told you I was making $50K that year, right? So you know I thought I was cool. I got out of the car, started screaming at the woman, cursing at the woman, okay? The woman's husband called my father. My father called me. He said, you know what? He said, this is the way you behave. He says, you didn't think to get out of the car and ask if anyone was hurt? And I went, yeah, that's what I should have done, okay? That would have been a better move. Rather than worry about who's going to pay for the car, say, you know what, is everybody okay here? Right? That's what I mean when I say put the other person first, okay? And I think back, again, you know, I'm thinking about these things 30 years later, right? And I'm telling them to you because it sounds funny, and I hope you don't have to wait 30 years to figure it out. Now, it's not that easy to take it from someone else, right? My experience doesn't always translate to you, but I'm saying that there are repercussions to your actions. So the idea is that, you know, you learn from making mistakes, and very often the toughest times are going to be your greatest teacher. So don't necessarily look at bad things as something bad that happens. Now back to work. So I went to the boss. I'm working under this woman who makes everybody cry. I never cried, by the way. But I go to the boss, Ray, and I say, Ray, you got 2 weeks to get me off this service or I'm leaving the medical center because I can't work under those situations. It was too stressful. I wasn't sleeping at night. Everybody was unhappy. And the bottom line is, he said, what about cardiopulmonary physical therapy? I said, I don't know anything about it, but I'll do it. Okay, so here's the shift to my current career. I was 24. It became my dream. I didn't even know about it. That's why I say stay open to things. Now, that's a weird way of getting to your thing, but sometimes, as they say, you know, one door closes, another one opens, but here something negative turned into a positive, and it turned out that cardiopulmonary physical therapy is what I was supposed to be doing, okay? And 3 months later, I became the chief because the chief resigned. Now, I was liked to be the chief. I was too young, I didn't have enough experience, but I made it my business to get myself up there by every single month, paying my own way to go to a different medical center around the country and to learn from them and to put their experience to my use. And I ultimately made it my business. Now, 4 years later, I didn't like the way things were moving. Okay, I saw the tides were shifting at the hospital and I opened my own practice. So now let's get to opening your own business and entrepreneurship. So what's the most important thing I asked you before about, let's say how many people here want to start their own business? Okay, how many people here want to work for someone else? Nobody? Okay, so you only have two choices, start your own business or work for someone else. So let's say this, what's the most important thing? What do you think is important about opening your own practice? Or opening your own retail fashion agency? Or opening your own modeling agency? Or opening your own medical center?
You have to have a business plan?
You have to have a business plan, yeah, but, yep.
Well, most of the decisions are made by you, and you get to like, I mean, it's not all about you, like, you get people first, but I mean, like, no one can tell you how to do things or what to do. You can find certain ways that fit your best interests.
But there might be people telling you what to do, right? The bank's going to tell you what to do. The government's going to tell you what to do. The IRS is going to tell you what to do. If you're opening a medical practice, Medicare might tell you what to do. So it's not like you can do whatever you want. What else?
Connections and connecting with people.
Connections and connecting. What else? Communication is key. What else?
Believe in what you're doing.
Believe in what you're doing. I'm going to throw a word out there. So a couple of words. Inspire. Okay? Inspiration is the key, right? It's the key to everything. It's the key to everything. What inspired you to open this business? And it's becoming inspired by other people, and then ultimately you inspiring other people. So when you think about that, okay, where do you draw your inspirations from? It could be people that you know. It could be people in the public sector. It could be movies. It could be songs. It could be, books. So my question is, what motivates you?
I say my life experience.
Your life experience?
And like people around me and stuff that they go through.
So
and
can
how
you?
they're able to overcome it.
So can you give us an example?
So for example, I'm like trying to start like my clothing line, and like one of the first, like the brand that one of the first
Clothing line.
Yeah, one of the first.
Come up here so we can hear you.
So my clothing line is gonna have like basically words of inspiration on here, and most of the words are like stuff that are related to me. And the first thing I'm gonna have on it is to be blessed, be yourself, and be happy.
Love it.
And that's
This guy could give the talk. Go ahead, I'll finish it up. Be blessed, be happy, be yourself.
Be blessed, be yourself, and be happy. And that's something that lived with me like basically my whole life growing up. And then I say be blessed first because in anything I do, I start from church. So, and I believe that people out there are gonna be blessed. And in order for you to be blessed, you have to believe in yourself. You have to be yourself. You can't just try to be blessed for someone who you're not. And then
Absolutely.
Yourself,
It's a false blessing, right?
Yeah, and when you're yourself, basically, when you become yourself and you love what you're doing, you're going to be happy.
And you want to know something else? This is great. I love the clothing line. I will partner with you on that clothing line. I will partner with you on that because I have made t-shirts. I am an artist. I love that idea, and I'm serious. I will partner with you. That's a good idea. Okay? I'm about to make a new clothing line too. It's going to be all about pulmonary wellness, right? You say, who wants a line about pulmonary wellness, right? But there's a niche, and this is what he loves. I'm serious. We're going to talk about that because that's a beautiful idea, okay? So give me some of the words. Let's hear it. We're not going to steal the idea. I already told you. You have witnesses. You're protected, and it's videotaped. Give me some of the words for the shirt.
You want more of the shirt? Like for the words that's going to be...
I want to hear some words. Be yourself, be blessed, be happy. What else?
I actually have them down.
Let's hear it. And he's digital too. Mine's in a notebook.
Alright, so the other one that I have is what if it was you? And that is something I came up with my
When I said it a few seconds ago?
What if something I came up with me and my sister. goes back to life experiences, and we're trying to actually do a YouTube film episodes where we do acting about the people that's around us, their real life like experience, like some deep stuff. So basically, when we do the episode, we put that shirt out for that episode because if you watch it, whatever was you in that situation.
Look for us on Shark Tank. And talk to me, but this is serious right here, okay? That's a great idea. And I'm going to tell you something, inspiration, that's the thing, okay? I found that inspiring right there, okay? Because he's ahead of my game with my t-shirt line, okay? I had a t-shirt line a few years ago. That's a beautiful idea. This guy's ready to go, and I'm ready to do it with you. Serious, no joke. That's not joke. That's not some BS right there. I'm serious about this. That's a winning clothing line, and I know everybody here is going to buy one of our shirts, right? Yeah. All right. So we're already in the business. That's awesome. And I love the YouTube stuff. I love to do video. I love that stuff. And that's the idea of making your work your life. And that's what they say when they say life's work. Like, nobody's life's work is like, you know, you have to find that dream. Okay, a lot of people are doing jobs. Okay, they're doing jobs. They hate their job. I left NYU almost 20 years ago. There's people that are still there that every day say, I hate this job. I'm quitting this job. I'm in. Wait, it's 20 years later. Oh, no. Okay? I'll tell you what else I find inspiration in people. Inspirational people, movies, quotes, music. One of the greatest inspirations in my life, and I have it written down already, it's a coincidence that you just brought this up, but John Lennon, okay? You guys know who John Lennon is? Okay, life is what happens while you're busy making other plans, okay? Which means this is your life. You only get one of them as far as we know. Time is moving fast, and we don't know what's gonna happen day to day, okay? So get rolling on it, do it. Live every day as if it's your last, because we never know, it could be, I hope not, but it could be, okay? Who else do you find inspiring? I'm going to tell you some of my inspirations, but first I want to hear yours, and then I'll tell you who I like to follow. Who? Chief.
I find Uncle, Pastor Asma inspiring, because
Joe Asma.
Yeah.
In the room. Put down, we gotta make a Joe Asma shirt. Why? Tell us why.
Because he's not a typical pastor, right? Because when you look at the pastor, you look at somebody that you think is a saint, right? Or they want to portray themselves as a saint, right? It's somebody that, every time you talk, or every time I tell him something, he don't judge you.
Keeps it real, right? That's what we're talking about.
He tells you that you have to sometimes make mistakes to kind of come out on top, right? And to live your life by design. I just feel like everything that he's done, he's lived it, or he has an experience with it. He's telling you from experience, and you just can relate to it and you live it.
Yeah.
Can I get an amen? Amen. I always wanted to get some amens. Today I got two so far. That's awesome, and that's real, right? You know what? I'm going to tell you something. The pastors, and it doesn't matter if it's the pastor, the teacher, the rabbi, the imam, or this and that, or who it is, okay? The person who's pointing the finger all the time, those are the ones I worry about. The person who's claiming to be the most pure and pointing out who's the least pure, we know there's something behind the scenes that probably isn't that good, okay? So again, it all goes back to keep it real, be humble. There's nobody in this room, there's nobody on this earth that's never made a mistake. There's nobody in this room, there's nobody on this earth that's never done something that they're ashamed of, or been put in a situation where something just didn't go the way it's supposed, or put somebody else in a situation where it didn't go the way it's supposed to go. It's okay. But as long as you recognize it and learn from it and keep building and growing from it, don't stay stuck there, okay? Behaviors repeat themselves, meaning that positive behaviors lead to more positive behaviors. Positive energy leads to, and I know they say opposites attract, but no, they really opposites, when it comes to positive behavior, positive lifestyle, doing things the good way and the right way, and I use those terms loosely because there's a right way and a wrong, there's a right way for different people. Your right way may not be my right way, but the more you build, they build and they snowball up, and negative creates negative. So the more negative you do, and not doing something positive and staying neutral is still not full potential, right? So you could be -1, 0, +1. +1, get the point every single time. But keep that humility there, okay? Who else? Inspirations, let me hear.
Well, I can say I have 3 inspirations in this building. First goes to Pastor Asma, Minister Michael, and Clifford, who have, I look at their lives and what they've done, and I use Clifford as an example. You know, seeing him doing what he was doing in the past and seeing him now, I see a big difference, which inspired me to also change my lifestyle and also build up on my Christian faith.
Build up, I'm sorry?
On my Christian faith.
Very cool. Very cool. That's good for you. That's real. Anyone else?
I want to
Yes.
share. I get inspired by actually reading the Bible, because I think there's some cool stuff in there that applies to everything we do and everything we do in our lives. So, like, there's a lot of the stuff you're talking about, and I just look at Pastor, I'm like, you're talking about stuff that's already, like, it's in the Bible. Like, you just don't have to use the scripture. It's already in there. So, I think for me, every time I read it, there's something in there that inspires me to be a better person. That inspires me to live my life to the fullest. So there's tons of things that, I mean, we can start pulling out of there, and I can give you one, like, be a difference maker. Like, that would be my thing. Everywhere I go, I want to be the salt and the light. I got to preserve, and I got to show people the way. So that would be my t-shirt right there.
Absolutely.
Salt
Absolutely.
and light right there.
Make every situation better.
Better.
Make every situation better. There's a reason it's called the greatest book on earth. I mean, it's real. What about public figures? What else inspires you? I'll tell you what I'm inspired by. People, places, things. So I'm definitely inspired by nature, the ocean, as you heard, sharks. Okay, I've been very lucky. Been able to photograph a lot of different types of sharks, great whites. No cage, still here, have all my limbs. People, the people that I get inspiration from, that I look up to, JFK. Love what JFK, ask not what your country could do for you, what you could do for your country. This is a person who gave up his life for trying to do what's right. Other people, Gandhi, the ultimate pacifist, John Lennon, Martin Luther King, Barack Obama, Andy Warhol. He's an artist, okay? Anyone know Warhol's work? One of the most colorful artists there are, okay? If you look at a lot of today's color work, where you see the yellow side, the green side, the red side, the blue side, it's all inspired by Warhol. Wouldn't be anywhere with him. Muhammad Ali. But you want to know something about Muhammad Ali? Okay? Muhammad Ali doesn't inspire me as a boxer, although he very well could. He inspires me as somebody living with Parkinson's disease. Okay? Because it would be very easy for him to go undercover, to go back into the shadows, to not let people see me as this weakened person who cannot speak. I am the greatest, right? But what that's telling you is he's got the heart to show you himself as the weakest, right? So if you can open, and that's what I like about when somebody pointed to someone else in the room, that takes guts to point at someone else in the room, because you know what, we might say, what? How could you think that person, or what, you like that person, or what, you idolize that person, or this and that. But no, that opens your heart. You open yourself up to that space between. You're saying, here I am, I'm Muhammad Ali. I used to be the greatest, fastest, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, and now I have Parkinson's disease and I can't speak, but I will teach others through that. And that, to me, is more inspiring than being an athlete, okay? Although he was a damn inspiring athlete, okay? Sorry, Pastor, I meant darn inspiring athlete. But the idea is that, you know what? It's easy to show everybody your good face. It's easy to come out and be strong when you feel good. It's when you feel bad, or you feel small, or you feel hurt, or you feel afraid. That's the time when you need to step it up and, you know, and really show your true self. That's what the true self is about, when everything else is been taken from you. Other things, again, I love Jay-Z. I'm super inspired by Jay-Z. I love his work. I love his music. I love his words. I love his wisdom. I love his business sense. You want to talk about the ultimate businessman. Watch Jay-Z work, okay? And one thing I love about him, he's bringing other people with him, okay? He says, don't be good, Brooklyn, be great. And that's what I would say to you today. You know, I'd say don't be good, be great. Movies. Anyone have any movies they find inspiring? Which one? Blindside? I haven't seen it. What?
Hidden Figures. Pursuit of Happiness.
Hidden Figures.
Hidden Figures. Okay, yeah, absolutely. 15 minutes. Okay, got it. Yeah, absolutely. Hidden Figures, awesome one. That was a great, inspiring movie. Leonardo DiCaprio. Okay, I like any movie with Denzel Washington. He knows how to pick the roles. Okay. What's that? Remember the Titans? That was an awesome movie. Fences. Yep. I'll tell you, I love the movie. What is it called? Legends of the Fall. Watch it. It's one that it's asleep and not everybody knows about it, but Brad Pitt's role in it is amazing. What else do I like? I like Gladiator.
Yeah.
I like The Perfect Storm. Anyone see that one? Just watch the movies. You're gonna like them. And I love Jaws. But the difference between most people and me when it comes to Jaws is I'm rooting for the shark. And then, other things like, quotes. There are certain, quotes. And like I say, the best thing, like when I see patients, I say, keep a diary. Write down what you ate today, write down the exercise you did today, so that you get an idea of this is what's working for me. If you see a quote you like, if you see a picture you like, if you see something like that, write it down. I'm going to tell you my favorite quote right now, and it applies to this. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes up short again and again, because there is no effort without error or shortcoming. That's saying we all make mistakes. But who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotion, who spends himself for a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who never knew either victory or defeat. And what that's saying is that it's not the person, it's very easy for me to look at you and say, oh, look what you did wrong. Look what you did wrong. And it's a coincidence that I caught him on his phone, but I'm going to talk about that for a second in a second also. But it's very easy to point out what other people are doing wrong, right? But the idea is get in there and take the chance and go for it. Because even if you fail, at least you tried. And most people, the thing that stops them from becoming entrepreneurs is fear. Okay? And I always say, feel the fear and do it anyway. Okay? There's times where I get in a situation with a shark or something like that, or even my business. We're about to move to a new space. My rent is going from $13K a month to $21K a month. You think that's not scary? I'm scared, okay? But I'm doing it anyway. I have the confidence that we're going to be able to do it. But the idea is that when you go into business, you're going to be tested as an entrepreneur. You're going to have every feeling in the book. When we first opened, we had 4 patients scheduled our first day. The 2 middle patients canceled. So we had a 9 a.m. patient and a 5 p.m. patient. The rest of the day you sit there worrying and saying, am I going to stay in business? But you say, what's the worst that's going to happen? Let's talk about a few things that you need to open your business. You need some money, okay? You need to get funding, but again, I think the most important thing is find out who you are. Find out what you're supposed to be doing. Go where your passion is, not where the money is. If you go where the money is, if you don't like it, you're not going to be happy. It doesn't matter how much money you have. If you go where your passion is and make that the key to your success, then the money will follow. I promise you that. When we opened our practice, I had a couple of patients. I told them where we were going. One of my patients came to me and said, it occurs to me that you might need some money. Handed me a check for $10K. I had another patient, we wanted to buy a new ambulance for our ambulance corps. I asked him, can he give us $10K? He gave us a check for $100K. Okay? So the idea, now that was somebody who was very, very wealthy, but the idea is that that came because these people wanted to help me. And they didn't want to help me because I said, look at me, I'm the greatest. It was because I wanted to help them. So that's the first thing. I want to take some questions or comments if you guys don't mind, because we have a few minutes left. I know this wasn't like, how do you start your business? But that's going to be less valuable to you, I feel, than the things that, we talked about. Because I wish somebody would have said to me, I got very lucky. I said, I've been in business 20 years, and I found my dream. And if you would have said to me 20 years ago, this is where you're going to be, I never would have believed it. I never would have believed it. But I just finished writing a book. I've pretty much accomplished everything I want to do in the art business and the fashion business. I've been able to work with great people, but it's pushing, but it's finding your inspiration and finding what it means to be yourself, finding your passion and following that. Questions or comments? And it could be about anything. Have I been through any hardships? Okay, you know what? You just reminded me of something I want to talk about. That's good. This is, it's. I could go for another 8 hours. Really, I could talk. But so I'll tell you about the most defining time in my life. So, at the age of 30, okay, I felt like everything had gone better than planned. So if you're wondering, right now I'm 31. No, I'm just kidding. But I was sitting with my sister and my girlfriend at the time and one of my employees. It was before work. We were having breakfast. And I said, you know what? I can honestly say I have everything in my life right now that I want. I said, I have the perfect job, the perfect relationship. I said, there's nothing that I want, okay? That afternoon, I got a letter from Medicare that my practice was being audited, which if you're in the medical business, you know that's hell, okay? Sorry, Pastor, heck. But the idea is, I got a letter saying that my practice is being audited by Medicare. A week later, my girlfriend moved back to Florida. A week later, 9/11, and my best friend was a fireman who died in the World Trade Center. And he was also a physical therapist that worked at our practice, okay? My best friend, okay? And we talked, I didn't get to the people in my life who inspired me, but this is one person named Larry, who's a fireman and a physical therapist, okay? And a dancer. And a winemaker, okay? So the idea is that you don't have to do one thing. Try everything out. You never know what you're good at until you try it. But that was the toughest for me, okay? That was my toughest at that time in my life. The Medicare audit lasted 18 months. Medicare wanted me to pay them $1.8 million back, okay? They denied 100% of my claims, okay? So for a year and a half, I was up at night, I had ulcers, I was so anxious, nervous, stressed, okay? But I said, I'm not going to admit to doing anything. I'm not going to admit that I either billed for something that I didn't do, and I'm not going to admit that I did something that wasn't medically necessary. I said, I'll go out of business first. Cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars. I came an inch away from losing my practice. For the last year, I ran my practice on my credit card, okay? But eventually, we won. And through that, I now know that I can beat the government, okay? And it sounds funny, but there's a lot of people that can't, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, shortly after that, I got audited by the IRS, personally. The pulmonary center got audited by the IRS. My art business got audited by the IRS. Won that one, okay? Then I got audited by the Department of Labor, okay? Had to pay a little on that, but I'll tell you why. This is a funny story about karma, okay? So I had a woman working for me that I found out was having some financial difficulties and was about to lose her apartment. So I was helping her out with some extra money. And probably when this plays, the IRS is going to come to me. I'm going to be in jail. So get to know me while you can. So she goes, eventually I had to fire her, okay, because her work performance was not good. But she had to go. Goes to the Department of Labor, and when she says how much she was making, she says, that's not how much I was making. He was giving me cash. So she basically ratted me out, even though I was trying to help her. See? So that's karma. So that was a tough time for me, okay, but we rebuilt, okay? But shortly after that, another friend of mine died. So my friend Larry died at the age of 38. Another one of my best friends died of an aneurysm. I had two very good friends. One was my grandmother, who was the closest person to me in my life, and my friend Max, who died at the age of 97. I've been so gifted in that doctors send me their patients when they've tried everything and nothing else works. And I've been able to pull people away from, and give them their lives back, except when it's been the people closest to me. And one of the greatest frustrations in my life, my friend Max, my grandmother, had very tough endings, very long, prolonged, painful endings. And so that, was hardship. And then, 1 year ago, I lost my brother, 37 years old. Went to sleep one night, didn't wake up, okay? So you asked me, have I been through hardship? I have, but here's the lesson I take from it, okay? Not that it ever gets easier, but these are my people, okay? My closest people, Larry, my grandmother, my friend Max, my brother, my friend Mark, okay? They no longer can. So now I am holding that torch, and I will use that to light the way for others where they no longer can. My friend Larry was a beast. I mean, he was, first of all, he's the strongest guy I know. I mean, strongest guy I know. He could climb up a fire pole with just his arms. There was a time we were in Mexico. I got jumped in a bar, and within like 30 seconds, there were like 20 bounces around me, and Larry lifted me from the center of the pile. Because he was a strong guy. Even during 9/11, like I couldn't imagine that he was gone. Like, it was a totally unimaginable thing. And then when they called me on my birthday, September 15th, to say we found Larry. And when they said we found Larry, I was like, that's awesome, where is he? And they were like, no, we found Larry. So you see, it didn't even dawn on me that he was dead. I figured he was so strong that, he had to be somewhere. We just didn't find him yet. So yeah, I've had my share of hardship, okay? But when you start to hear stories like this, I'm sure other people in this room have had similar experiences, have lost people close to them, and you say, you know what? They are not here anymore, but I am. And so they can't, I can. And it inspires me to do more, okay? I love Hamilton, so if you don't have the tape, get the tape or get the CD, or get downloaded. I'm talking like I'm 75 years old, but the idea is that there's a part where they say, why do you write like you're running out of time? And I really identify with that because I just finished a book that I've been working on for 10 years, and it's like, once my brother died, I said, you know what? We don't know. After that, that just opened my eyes, and I was like, I better get done what I need done, because we don't know. And I'm not trying to end on a morbid note, I'm trying to end on a positive note to say, there's people who have gone down, before us that were better than us, smarter than us, stronger than us. Let's live the best life that you can and take that and move forward. Comments? Yes, sir. Chief.
So, it seems you've done a lot. Been in different industries, work. I think, my problem I always want to get into a lot of things too. How did you have time, or what did you do as far as time to make sure that you gave each industry the attention that you needed for it to be successful?
It's a great question. It's a great question. So, the physical therapy was my first one, right? So that was my overall, all day, every day. When I was getting audited by the government, they basically weren't allowing me to bill for a while, right? So that gave me a lot of time on my hands, and I went out at night, every night, to try to push my fashion line, okay? I've always wanted to be an artist. I've always wanted to be a painter, except I can't get what's up here to go through my hand onto the canvas. But as a photographer, like I know a lot. I know I have a beautiful eye because if I buy a piece of art, it goes up. If I look at something, I know what works. I can spot trends, but I can never get this to equate here. But with the advent of digital art and digital photography, I was always a good photographer. So now I was able to take my artwork or my photography and put it into artwork, okay? So I started, from an entrepreneurship perspective, I'll say this. I believe if something is worth doing, it's worth making money on, okay? So the idea was I got this camera. It was like an accident. Like it was like the first camera with a filter on it, right? Like now everybody's got filters. You're like, wow, you were with a Tyrannosaurus Rex? How did that happen? But it was the first thing, and it looked like a photograph, right? So I was like, this is amazing. Now I can make my art. So I started printing it. I took a full-page ad in New York Magazine and started doing children's portraits, okay, that holiday season. So that's when, I had the time at night. Then I started to push my clothing line. I happened to have the good fortune of running into somebody named Johnny Nunez. who is the top photographer in the hip hop game, okay? And although we butted heads at the beginning because, as he said, every time I tried to get a picture of Carrie Hilson, you were in my way. I was like, who is this guy? We became very close friends and brothers, and I wound up getting all access to every single artist over the next 5 years, and we go to 4 or 5 different shows a night or events, and so there was that, and then I was able to do both. So one was a day job, one was a night job, and then my practice grew, and I had to give up, at least put behind me a little bit on the side the art and fashion, although I still do it. But the thing is, if I have a choice of helping people breathe better or taking photos and creating art, I'm going to help people breathe better. And it just so happens I was making money doing the art, but my art was mostly in Miami of people who would pay $10K for a portrait of themselves. I've had people pay $50,000 for 10 portraits of themselves to hang around their apartment, and I have no respect for that. You know what I mean? Because it's like, if you have that money and you're that self-centered, like, I'm doing the work. Yeah, I'll take the photo for you. I'll do the art as a job, but there's no reward in that other than the money. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to someone who said to me yesterday, my mother is walking more than she's ever walked before. Or my mother is so happy when she comes to your practice, or she can breathe so much better, or she doesn't cough at night. So how do I do it? Once my business grew as a physical therapist and I was cleared on all charges of Medicare stuff, and we were found to be 100% right, my practice grew, and then I had to put that aside because you have to make a decision. You can't always do everything, okay? Something may have to fall back into the hobby phase. You have to keep the main thing the main thing. So you have to say, what is most important to me? So is it real estate or is it hang gliding? Hang gliding isn't going to make you a whole lot of money, so that becomes your hobby, and real estate becomes your thing. But that's why I say you have to find your passion. And not everybody could do 5 things. I'm not married, I don't have kids, I only have a dog. By choice, I'm happy, I'm not missing anything in my life. I have good people in my life. But the idea is that you have to prioritize things. If I had a child, if I had children, I would be a lot more careful with the sharks. I might not do some of the other things I do, because then you have to think for others. You know what I mean? I still think for others, but at the end of the day, I get to go home, and relax all day, every day. I'm taking care of other people, which I love to do. It's not a complaint. But my advice to you is you have to really ask yourself, what is the most important? And when you say most important, it's what is my dream, what is truly who I am, what is going to bring the most benefit to me and my family and my community, and that's what you decide on. So as important as it is, that's the weight you give it. Questions, comments? All right, one more time. Who's the coolest person in the room? No. All right, I think it's Joe Asma. All right, thank you guys. It's been a pleasure. And if you guys like, please take one of my cards, check out my website, and all this other stuff. And if you want, feel free to contact me. Business ideas, this is Shark Tank, Poconos edition. And thankfully, I have a new t-shirt line after today.
It's still recording. You have a name other than I know you brought your swimming trunks today.
Oh, you brought your swimming stuff?
I know you brought your swimming trunks today.
He was looking at the pool like, okay.
Wait, Chief. I know, they feel so bad.
Wake up. I know I was
Wait. They know you from Chief and Medicaid.
None of us
Okay, we don't
Guys, can you please come back into the room?
Can you rip out real quick? What do you think of cool?
I'm sorry, I can swear out. Wait, what is up? What is that?
Hey.
What is that?
All right, we all be seated.
Wait, I'm thinking.
All right, can we please be seated? All right, one more time for Dr. Noel Greenspan. We really do appreciate you. That was awesome. I was sitting back there, and every time you said something, I would put it down on my phone, like you said, and I would look at Pastor, and I was like, yo, it's like he's speaking the things we teach you every day. Pastor teaches every day at church. It's like there's no difference. You just have to apply the scripture to it, and you run with it. And he has lived his life looking out for people. The Bible says it. You love your neighbor as you love yourself. You look out for somebody else. These are basic concepts. So we do appreciate you. Thank you very much for coming. And our pleasure and our honor having you here today. We will spend some time outside, Dr. Greenspan. We want to take some pictures with the cool.
A&T disciples! Yeah, chosen! A&T disciples! Yeah, chosen! Chosen!
No, I just want to say one more thing. Like, you guys really, we talk about the word cool, but you guys really are cool. Like, I am inspired because it's like when I was your age, trust me, we weren't doing anything like this. No one was saying, like, astrophysicist or, like, pediatric neurosurgeon. We were like, hey, let's go to the arcade or something, And so, it's cool. You guys are cool, and I'm inspired by you guys, and just keep going because trust me, you guys really are the future. Like, it sounds like a cliche, you hear it over and over again, but you guys are on the right path a lot earlier than most people get on that path, and some people never get on that path. So keep it coming.
All right, so we'll make our way outside, and we'll start taking our pictures. We have, I believe, wow.